How to experience bliss as taught in Bhagavad Gita. The ultimate bliss can be experienced by closing all the gates of the body. The sense organs such as skin, ears, nose, eyes and tongue are the pathways through which external stimuli reach the mind and create movement in the mind. To close these five gates by attachment means to control all the senses. Through these paths, the energy of the man keeps on flowing out. There is also a possibility that due to old impressions or the memories, the mind may again run after those things which are pleasing to the human senses. The mind is the master of the senses. When a person is more connected to the world, his energy descends to the lower chakras. So in meditation, it is better to gather all the prana and resting it between your eyebrows, uttering Om. God has already told that Om is the first universal sound, the ultimate letter, which was first recited in the universe and has been continuously till now. So while chanting Om, the Supreme Soul is remembered. Here that does not mean leaving the body, but when the yogi's attachment to the world and its things begins to disappear while chanting and meditating and he rises above the sense of I and mine, his ego automatically perishes. It goes, that is called a death, and that is the body consciousness changes to the soul consciousness. Energy can be taken upwards to Sahasrara chakra through meditation and breathing techniques. As man's energy starts moving upwards, it becomes more pure, which works to connect him with the Supreme Soul. God explained that just as there is a world outside in the nature, in the same way there is a world which is inside man, and there are innumerable similarities between these two. Like in the outer world, the moon never stays the same but keeps on increasing and decreasing. When the moon grows for 15 days, it is called the Shukla Paksh. At this time, the moon becomes fully bloomed, becomes bright and complete. In the remaining 15 days, when the moon decreases, it is called the Krishna Paksh. At this time, there is a time of the darkness. The 6 months of Uttarayan means when the sun moves from middle line, that is the equator, to the north. That is, it goes upwards, and this is called the Uttarayan. When the yogi stays in his self-consciousness, then the fire of the knowledge arises through the spiritual practice. This fire consumes all the desires, disorders, samskars in his mind. After this, Jyoti, the fire which was created by the spiritual practice and cleansing the mind, arises inside. This Jyoti fills the yogi with the light of the knowledge. In this state, the energy of the yogi becomes so pure and positive that it starts moving upwards, that is towards the top of the heart, towards the Sahasrara chakra. This is called the Uttarayan state. Energy works to connect the yogi with the Brahma. Divas means the day full of light, that is the light of the lamp of the knowledge spreads in every pore of the yogi. And just as everything can be seen clearly in the day light, in the same way a mind can full of knowledge becomes its true self. That is not the body but the soul, but it is a part of the Supreme Soul. Such a mind becomes aware of the right and wrong with the power of discrimination, which saves it from doing wrong deeds. The second situation is that in which yogi has to be born again. Such yogis had moved towards yoga practice, but due to some disorders, desires arose in him, due to which the fruit of the karma was born, due to which Bhrashta yogi is again bound in bondage. Such yogi, after enjoying the virtuous fruits earned by spiritual practice, for some time returned to the world after taking birth again. The person in those mind, desires, vices, etc. are deep. Then they cover his true nature like a smoke, and he starts considering himself as the body. The energy of such a person starts flowing downwards. Night means that illusion that gives birth to the darkness, in which the power of thinking of the man starts decreasing. This means that there is a sense of the body consciousness in it, and there is a lack of the soul consciousness. The way such people have the attachment to the world, they have the ego. Krishna Paksha means the occurrence of the moon, the increase of the darkness. The 6 months of the Dakshinayan means the moving of the sun towards the south, or the downward flow of the energy. In this, the energy starts going to the Muladhara chakra, which is towards fulfilling the desires and pleasures of the man. It works to give birth to the karmas, due to which a person has to take birth again to enjoy them. When a person keeps himself attached to the world to fulfill his desires and to get pleasure, then his energy starts collecting in the lower chakra and gets flowed out through the 9 parts of the body. This is explained as Krishna Paksha or Dakshinayan, where there is no divine light of the soul but darkness of the lust and vices. Man becomes the slave of the mind by being engulfed in the midst of lust and vices, and goes on doing such actions which give birth to the fruit which he has to take a new birth in order to enjoy it again. Such a life would lead him away from both the ultimate soul and liberation. On the contrary, when a person does not connect with the outside world but with himself, that is the soul that resides within him, then his energy gathers upwards towards the Sahasrara chakra, which works to connect him with the Supreme Soul. It is described as Shukla Paksh or Uttarayan. This energy contains divine knowledge and light, and this is the only way by which man can attain the liberation. The Supreme Soul is the spark or ray from which life begins, and the soul experiences this world by taking the body. While living in the world, when a man tries to connect with his soul, and when he realizes that the soul never changes and he is immortal, that is the end of the body consciousness. Knowing and being the beginning of the soul consciousness, the body cannot be immortal because it is made of nature and it is sure to disappear one day. So when the soul feels that the body is no longer fit for it, then it decides to leave it. That is nothing but a process to change. Therefore, birth and death cannot happen without the Supreme Soul. After this, the Lord says that He is Sat, which means the truth which is always there. And the Prakriti is Asat, that is ever changing. Man's body, nature, thoughts, desires, etc. all keep on changing. So they are called unreal or Asat. So friends, experience the bliss inside, and divinity is our right to experience in human form, the chance of which should not be wasted in just ignorance. Namaskar.